Well, hello. Hello everyone, welcome to another round here on the Valiant Racing channel, and we're here for Monday Night Racing once again. And well, if there's anything to follow last week, this is going to be one hell of a race. Last week, and anyone who's not watched it, please, I implore you that if you've not watched that race yet, and if you're not watching live here, go back, watch Britain. It was epic. And I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to just talk up this league because they're such great races or anything like that. Honestly, best race that I have seen, I reckon, ever here on F1 2020. And I'm looking forward to tonight for that exact reason. It's going to be great. It really, really is. But let's talk a little bit about what happened last week then. It was Britain. And you had Robbie and Safdar leading the way. I really thought that was going to be a battle for the ages, but it just didn't quite work out for Safdar in terms of trying to really challenge Robbie as soon as he got ahead in sort of like going into the bit, into sort of like the middle part of the race. And then we had the battle of all battles for third place emerging between Crazy Bill and Walker. And they were battling all race long. I won't tell you how it ended because it was such a great battle. Honestly, you need to go see it. It was just, it was incredible. And that wasn't the only one we had. That was going on race lap after lap. And then when that one sort of dissipated, it then became the guys just behind them. At one point, we had third all the way down to sixth, all within a second of each other, and it was just brilliant to see. And then that carried on throughout the race. We had battles lower down, and we only had a small amount of retirements. I think only one safety car. It was amazing, genuinely was. And my god, I cannot wait to see what happens tonight, because here we are in Abu Dhabi, and whilst this is not a great track to watch in real life, here on the game it is brilliant. The overtaking opportunities are amazing. The way that they can really face off against each other throughout all this circuit and really give each other space to battle is brilliant. And we'll go on to a little bit about this track in a little bit, but we will talk quickly about the drivers and constructors standings. So in the driver standings, we have FT still leading the way on 149 points, with Extremist just over 60, just under, should say, 60 points behind on 91 points. You then have Joshy Boy on 88, very close. Both drivers, Joshy Boy only picked up, I think, 8 points in the last race, and Extremist didn't pick up anywhere after crashing out. You then have Callum Tyler on 59, and Crazy Bill, who obviously we had that amazing battle with in the last race. He's now up to 45, and he's only a reserve, so he's not actually fighting for anyone in particular, but he is certainly up there. Maybe, given last race's pace, given this is only around 11 of 15, there's still a fair amount of points left up for grabs. Can Crazy Bill even maybe take third place off of Joshy Boy in the Red Bull? And in the constructors, you have Mercedes, who are still flying out in front with 195 points, only gaining 4 points in the last race, so it means people are catching up behind. But then we have a monumental battle happening behind with McLaren, Red Bull and Alfa Romeo switching places every 10 seconds, I swear. McLaren is still in second place with 150, but Red Bull are now in third with 147, only 3 points behind, and Alfa Romeo only 2 points behind them on 145. That race for second place is certainly going to be one that we're going to be talking about for the next 4 races at least. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys do around this track. As we said, this is not exactly the best designed track for F1 racing, especially in the modern era, but that does not mean that we're going to have a bad race, because here on the F1 2020 game, to be honest, because you've not got the dangers of, oh my gosh, what if I break my front wing, as much as a danger to the person, obviously still dangerous to the car, they just dive in, and it means you get some amazing battling around here, especially going into the hairpin, especially going in then to the fast section straight down with DRS is incredible. And of course, this track is, you know, the reason why it's at the end of the calendar, the reason why it's so sought after by everyone on the grid is because of the fact that obviously it's a multi-billion-dollar development, which includes a marina, Ferrari World theme park, the Yas Water World, the Dew Arena, concert venue. You've then got the shopping centres, the golf courses, the hotels, and it's all on this one big man-made island. It's literally F1 paradise. Apart from the track's not great. Rather interestingly, it's actually got 6 different configurations. We've only seen one, for some reason, when even Kimi Räikkönen said the first few turns are quite good, but the rest of it's crap. You know, when you think about one-time, should I say, world champion, I'm dreaming there, one-time world champion Kimi Räikkönen doesn't even think it's a brilliant track. You'd think they'd change up some of the, you know, one of those 6 different configurations. You'd hope, especially in that final sector. But let's talk about what we could expect in qualifying, because this race is actually quite often won from the front row of the grid. Räikkönen in 2012, his victory here was actually the first victory and the only victory to have been won away from the front row of the grid. He started 4th. The first 6 races here, the first 3 races, I should say here, the pole sitter didn't finish the race. But the next 6 races after that, the pole sitter won. So qualifying here is very important. The pole position lap in real life was Max Verstappen of a 1:35.2 last year, and of course he went on to win the race very comfortably and maybe even set a precedent for what we saw this year. But in our league, the best lap that we've had around here in the race was a 1:35.4 set by Drofter, who's not racing today, but who we probably would hope that time can get beaten in qualifying. So let's get ourselves ready for what I hope to be a very interesting lap. Can't get my words out. Very interesting qualifying session. I don't know who. Well, I have a feeling I've got a feeling who I think will start on pole. For me, my bet will be on Nick, who then has some other sort of predictions that have come our way as well, saying that I Am Sloth might be getting pole position. That's both from Casey and also from Vic. Well, but let's think about the race as well. A lot of people are really tipping Clarkey to win, which will be very interesting to see. A lot of people tipped him to win in the last race as well. You see some people head out on medium compound tyres. As you know, if he you know, a lot of people said he was going to win the race in the last in Britain, and just had a bit of a nightmare race in the end. So maybe we'll see him sort of live up to expectations this time round. He's obviously in the Racing Point, who we have Uncle Ben's Rice, Noosh the Lee, who's also joining us here. Let's see, I don't know how he's going to do. We've got a few other newbies who have also joined as well. Jim Strap as well, who's joined in. We've got, I'm just trying to think, we've got Jamay. I'm going to butcher all of your names to begin with. Please tell me how to say it from here. But of course, you then have the likes of Casey and Nick, who we saw doing brilliantly last race. Robbie, last week's race winner. Safdar isn't with us this week, but, you know, I have a feeling these guys can really be battling up the top. A lot of people are also suggesting that Extremist might be on the podium this time out. I have a feeling that the podium will probably be Clarkey, Nick and Extremist. I don't know whether that's going to actually happen. You have some people pitting that VRL Smithy will be on the podium. That would be very interesting indeed. I've not seen him on the podium as of yet. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It really is. A lot of people, as you can see on the outlaps here, a lot of people are out on that medium tyre. It'll be interesting to see. Now, we're not expecting rain, so it's not going to be a strategy choice on that level, but it'll be interesting to see if they just believe that they can actually really get a good lap in on those mediums, enough to sort of get them into the top 10. We do have 19 runners here today. Brilliant turnout, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they're doing. So, Cody is starting his first flying lap. Let's hope the Red Bull, I think that's Jake Lee, is not getting away. It doesn't indeed. So we're going to stay on board here with Cody, and let's see what sort of times he's setting. So it's a 17.1 for the first sector, as he goes into the tight hairpin of turn 7. Let's see now, this is a very important exit. You want to be in second gear, not to make sure you're spinning up your ears too much. You're going into first lap, well, obviously if you're using manual gears, you're going to make it back in a bit too twitchy, I think the best word for it is. You can end up spinning if you're not careful. So now going into turn 8, a very difficult set of corners here, turn 8 and 9, as you then get into another DRS zone down the back straight of turn 10, down into turn 11, another very important pacing zone. So we go now it's then 12, 13 and 14 very quickly. It is another purple sector obviously at the moment, but we do not know what everyone else is doing. We stay on board with Cody here. He's doing it, and he is just getting a little bit out of sort on his acceleration on exit the corners, but that shouldn't be affecting his time too much at this point. Obviously this is only your first lap, this isn't going to be always. We see him have a massive moment there. His traction just coming out of these corners, he may have just warmed the tyres up a little bit too much, and they're just not getting the that he needs, but it's just not working out for him at the moment. So this won't be a competitive time, but it will still give us an indication as to what we're kind of looking for. Obviously a 1:30, 1:35 was it? I think the best time was it, a 1:35.4, so that was a decent time for 1:35.8, only 4/10 off the best time. Obviously set in, as we see him then go fastest for 1:35.5, Ben's right with the 1:34.6 with the medium tyres. So let's go now to see who's next across the line. It looks like Broker starting his lap. Is he? Yes, he's about to start. We then have May sort of comes across the line there with a 1:35.5. So these guys are really pushing the limits of this track. Obviously, Seam has beaten the track record, but of course that's the track record, that's not the record. That's 1:33.7 from Robbie. Amazing lap from him. Let's see who else is currently out on a flyer. Casey's currently out on a flyer, but he's broken track limits. Of course, we've got strict track limits going as always here, so that is catching a few people out. I am Sloth, who a lot of people have suggested is going to get pole position. Let's see how he does. We're going to stay on board with him. I think his lap, the only person who we haven't really spoken about today, as we see Clarky goes second on the medium compound tyre. That's very important indeed. He's actually FT, our current championship leader. Now, I wouldn't say he's too far away from people's cap, as FT goes fourth with that medium compound tyre as well. I wouldn't say he's too far away for people, but he certainly has got a substantial lead there at the top. You see Cody from 5.7. I think that's actually going into the backfield at the start finish line, is it maybe? I'll go around and have a look. We're going to stay on board though with Spot. He's pushing the car limits as he breaks track limits. That is a real shame. There's going to be a very good lap there from I Am Slot, but not quite enough for him. Let's see if Nick is setting the fastest lap at the moment. It's still purple in the first sector. He's going to be really hoping he can link it up here and see if he can challenge the local Clarky. Clarky's time for 1:34.1 is impressive on that medium compound tyre. It's usually around 7/10 difference between the and the medium, so that sort of puts him at around a 1:33, which is 2.5 tenths faster than Robbie's. Pretty impressive. Right, so Nick now going down the back straight. Again, another purple sector from Nick. So, are we going to see here another pole lap? He's going to try not to extend on the track limits as much as everyone else. He hasn't. That's good news for him. He's still going at almost track limits for Nick there, going on the exit of that corner there. But as we go now down to the very fast right-hander, very easy to lock up and completely ruin your lap, as we saw Cody do earlier. So, let's see what Robbie can do. It's important to note that the second all the way down to 7th. And there's a mixture of people that are on soft and medium compound tyres. So Nick now goes across the line with a 1:34.2. It is right up there into third place. That's very interesting indeed for him, because that does suggest that he's going to be able to really either maximise his time on those soft compound tyres, or if he really wants to start on those mediums for the strategy, it does put him in a very decent position. You do expect him to lose a few positions going into the final run of qualifying, but it's not going to be too bad, really. As we go 1:34.4 for Casey, up for him as well, and that's his second lap on those medium compound tyres as well. Sorry, soft compound tyres, not mediums. So let's see who's heading out. Series now heading out for another outlap, hoping to get another lap in before he has to start his final runs. So we see Uncle Ben's Rice is also coming out. He's been out on the softs this time, so let's see what his time can be representative compared to the others. I think we've got a fight on our hands. I think, honestly, Clarky and Nick both come in for softs. See, Clarky has fitted the softs in his menu at the moment. I think if both of them end up going on softs, we could have a real great fight for the pole position between probably about 5 drivers, I'd say. Their team's obviously going to be on medium compound cars at the moment. We've got Ben Rice, who's got medium, his fastest lap, and maybe he can get up there. It's going to be an interesting one. And the fact that 12th position is still in the 135 is a very interesting point. Obviously, he's a fair bit off the current place. Gem, the way to say it. I don't know if anyone listening to me is actually knows how to pronounce that. Jemay doesn't sound right. I don't know whether it's just me and I'm just offending someone by saying that. But Jemay doesn't sound right. If it is Jemay, that's what I'm going to say. Who knows? Maybe it's the children J.E. just made it in May of 01. That's what. Anyway. Rice is about to start his playing lap. Stay on board with him and see what kind of lap he can do on the soft compact tyres. Guys up ahead really will stay in the pits at the moment. Get on with it. I'll go to the soft compact tyres to see if he comes out of the table. So Ben's Rice sets a slightly faster lap, literally 1,000 faster. Brilliant. Okay, let's see if he can improve through the second sector. Obviously, we know the first sector is one of those sectors that you should. I think Williams and actually George Russell was fastest in the first sector for a good while during qualifying last year in 2020. So it just shows it's not usually just about how much you can put now. Whereas actually technical bits in sector 2 and sector 3, especially during these corners, very easy to spin you going through turn 9 there. Now let's see if he goes going up towards turn 11. Does he brake? Does he brake early? Does he lock up his wheels? He doesn't lock up. It's a very decent braking there from the friend. Out into sector 2 time was comparative to his last. Now, but it may just be to get him into the top 5. Think what the gap is 7. All the way through that difficult section. Now, one a bit out of order. Let's see, go to the line now. 34, brilliant lap, really, but still only for 4th place currently. Let's go down to Skim and see him pit, though he's not going to get a faster time. Paul's broken track limits on the map spin, seeing if he's doing better than he's safe currently in F1. He seems like he's on a slow lap. He's doing off the line with a 1:35.3. Tony's doing up to 12. So we've got people who are out the track, broke for that, and really, whoever we sort of predict to be on the road, you know, on the road, it's probably good to just take a next now. See, back this middle sector with the 50 sticks. Let's see how he does going into third. This is where he broke track previously, just keeps it on, still maximising the very, very apex there of turn 14. Figure out where we are. So turn 14, now turn. There, didn't want to be that wide. Track limit somehow going through turn 18 and turn 20. The road it in very much. So we're going to turn 21. Very difficult last corner now. Let's go. The line to 1:33.5. It is fastest for I Am Sloth. And I think that raises the bar for the guys behind of Robbie, Clarky, and let's see if them can get close to that. It's a fairly decent time there from I Am Sloth. He's got 2/10 on his nearest competitor of Robbie, but of course Clarky and Nick both set their times on medium compound tyres. That's really raised the bar for the likes of the top 5. It's an amazing top 5 at the moment. You see the seconds separate the top 6. FT has retired. Our championship leader has retired. There's going to be a pass going to broke Gorilla to see if he actually starts. I'm sorry. That was funny. Let's see where he ends up here. Either missed his braking though, because he was right at the end of turn 19, so I don't know where he crashed, but FT, you know, currently in 9th place, obviously only just over a second off of I am best top. I think that's a real shame, and I think we could be seeing the championship lead just take another hit in this race. Now, no one count FT out, please. He's an amazing racer. If anyone can start 9th and probably come out on top, it is FT, as we've seen plenty of occasions. That's not how you take this track, guys. We've seen plenty of occasions in this season. FT has shown how it's in the race, but starting at least in 9th, we see the top runners start to come out. Nick is first to pull the trigger. You've then got see him behind him on and nobody's fastest, isn't it? So we're going to stay on board with Siam, so then it looks like Casey behind him. Casey, no. Who is it? Let's wait and see. It's Jake Lee who's currently in 10th place behind him. You can see Nick gets out of the way, gives Siam a slip through there, gives it to him. So let's see as Siam goes in towards this difficult turn of 9 and 10. And also 8 and 9, and then this is technically turn 10. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going into the middle section. The fastest middle section of 156 something. He's got a fastest middle sector. That must mean his first sector is one thing to note about of these night circuits is that track evolution here is crazy. The difference in pace between, you know, your first laps and your final, usually about second. So any of these guys really leave it to the last point. You see everyone pretty much head out going into the final bit. I think really Nick has pulled a blinder here. He's not going to have any traffic in front of him as long as he can get out. You see going into 6th place, and Nick will in that, so he's that much space left now. Well, Nick, for his bid for pole position, right? Any traffic ahead of him, he's line here, he's not getting traffic. He's going to be able to really maximise all of his pace here, and hopefully the clean air will be a clean run. The break will go now. Down to turn 5, through difficult braking zone. He is fastest through the middle first sector. He then goes to turn 6, very difficult, and turn 7, brakes very deep, and it just gets away from him a little bit. You know, you're not wanting to touch the apex there, really, but from tyres, what you want to be doing. So let's see now as Nick goes down towards turn 8. Can he not do the same thing again? You see people really backing off on their outlap. So Nick, as brake track limits, he does sort of think, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do much better than this. You can see Ian Slot has now started his fastest lap. Let's see what he can do. So Nick is out of contention, now goes down to at least 3, maybe even 4. Maybe more are going to be in contention. So it could be Slot, then Robbie, and then Clarkey to start their flying lap. You can see Ian Slot goes fastest in the sector. Gorilla needs to stay out of the way here. That is really so that could have ended very naturally. 85 at holding up people, especially in McLaren. So I am looking up into collecting Nick at not thing but big. The extremist is tired. That's a real shame. We're interested to see what he is going fast through this middle sector, faster during this middle sector. Nick has managed to get out 1-4 for another time, so we can see if he's going to improve. So I am soft going in towards the final bout, into the final sector. Let's see how he is going into very difficult braking zone on turn. doesn't manage to do the same things what he did before and lose a little bit of time there, he can be very pleased with himself as he goes now around through turn 19 and into turn 20. The last 2 corners, so he beat his previous best time. It's great track limits. That is not what you want to see. Robbie is also backed out. Clarkey, see Casey's gone up to 3rd position. Clarkey now going towards the end of the 2nd set as he improved. This will be very interesting to see. Microsoft has got pole position. He's a 10th up, but that's not currently enough for Clarkey to get pole position, but can he maximise the rest of this lap? So we'll see now Clarkey going through towards turn 17. This is maybe where it all went wrong for Sloth, because he just sort of lost his rhythm a little bit and pushed a little bit too hard. So Clarkey now going across into turn 19. He does break track limits. That is not good for him. Now we're going to go on board with Nick, who's following very closely behind. So Nick now down in 6th place. Let's see if he can get back into the top row as we see pretty much everyone finishing their laps. We'll go back through them in a second. Nick now about to cross the line with a 1:33.6. It is 2nd place for Nick, but I Am Sloth does get pole position with that first lap indeed. So it's I Am Sloth, then Nick, then Robbie, Casey doing an amazing lap, then Uncle Ben's Rice doing another amazing lap going through as well. Not good news for Clark. He's starting down in 6th, see him in 7th. Then you've got Joel in 8th. MJ King, who's done very well for Williams, in 9th. You then have a lot of retirees of FT down in 10th place. Jake Lee in 11th. Mazespin in 12th. Extremist, who a lot of people were saying could get a podium here, in 13th. You then have Jermaine 14th. VRL Smithy in 15th. And then Cody, Jennings, Bro Gorilla, and Jim Stroud does not set a time. But what a lap that we saw from I Am Sloth going into pole position in the 2nd lap, I think it was. No, it was his first flying lap actually. It was good enough for pole in the end. Wow, what a qualifying session. Very interesting indeed, and boy, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out, because these guys at the top, I mean 700ths between Nick and I Am Sloth is very interesting indeed. Wow. It just certainly is. Just I didn't expect that. We see Clarkey doesn't actually improve his time. So Clarkey in 6th, he's starting on the medium tyres. That's going to be an interesting strategy call, because he's going to have a lot to do from 6th place really to be able to get on the top. But with those medium tyres, if he can get himself into a DRS train, as I didn't mean to click that, almost dropping my controller. As you see, you know, Clarkey, if he can get himself into a DRS train, he can really benefit from those medium compound tyres. Run a little bit longer in the colder temperatures of the night. Who knows? Who knows indeed? So the guys are just getting their strategies ready, they're getting their fuel loads ready, because of course this is a long race, but they want to make sure they're not under fueling. A lot of these guys probably will run with about 3 laps under fuel to begin with, and then just sort of like use fuel management from then on in going through the race, because of course a lighter car is of course better, and if you can manage your fuel throughout the race, it's certainly something I've never been really good at. I've always just started on normal fuel and just legged it to the end basically, as we see a lot of these guys readying up. Session starts in 13 seconds, but probably will start earlier. Yeah, I don't know what I'm expecting here. I think I Am Sloth getting pole position is certainly what a lot of people tipped. He was very good in the last race, but just couldn't get it up there with the rest of them. So maybe we will be seeing Sloth as a winner, and then the likes of Nick and Robbie, who we know did very well in the last race, especially Robbie of course winning. Maybe this is where we see Robbie really having to battle for his position out front. But I think off the line is going to be very interesting indeed. That's something we haven't yet seen. Let's see what people are starting on. And a lot of people are starting on the medium compound tyres. Of course, safety cars are a thing that we have to be thinking about here. It's quite common around the Yas Marina circuit with quite twisty sections. It does mean that we're likely to get a safety car, so those medium compound tyres that little bit later could really work out well for them. Especially, I think Clarkey's one I'm going to have to keep my eye on here. But although we're in round 11, I'm going to say the same thing. If you're new to VRL, please make sure to like and subscribe. Please make sure to drop us a message if you want to join in. We have guys who are happy to help in terms of getting people to speed, in terms of helping the driver academies. We've got all the guys here who are really good, who are running driver academies and just helping people, because of course challenge is what these drivers love. It's what everyone wants. They want to be battling against each other. We saw it in the last race, just exactly how amazing it can be when people are on very similar speed levels. And it just means that if you guys are up to speed, it means that everyone's having more fun. So please get in touch if you want to join in, even if it's not just a race, but just to be part of it. Please let us know. But yeah, of course, formation map, very important, especially for the medium runners. And it's really important to stay around here because as it's a bit colder, those medium tyres can really lose you a lot of time off the start if you're not careful. Iron Stop has completely legged it round the corner. We're going to probably go on board with probably Uncle Ben's Rice, I'd say, off the start. That we can see the guys in front of us, how they really launch off the start. Of course, we'll start in broadcast mode, I think, just to see how everyone gets off the start, and then go to Uncle Ben's Rice's onboard camera so we can see what's happening in front. It's always good when you have basically a cameraman right behind. That's the way I think about it. So, I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, because I have no clue what's going to happen here. So, it is a two-stop race, soft, medium, or soft, medium, or maybe medium to start with. So, we're going to get started here off the start of the grid. I don't know how many freaking lights we have. We don't have any at the moment. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are off, and it's been a decent start from Clarkey on those medium compound tyres. That's great to see. I'm going to go on board with him and see if he can manage to go. So Imsloth goes right in. Casey gets a bit of a moment there. Uncle Ben's Royce has managed to get in, but it does mean that Clarkey's had to back off as we have a virtual safety car right off the start. What has happened there? Anyone got damage? That's a broken front wing for Extremist. Gorilla's got a 5-second time penalty for collision right off the start. So Clarkey's lost a place off the start. He had a brilliant start and then just got held up behind his teammate after Casey had a bit of a wobble going through turn 1. Real shame to him. I saw him really being able to overtake. Ben Royce has gone straight into 4th place. He's going to be hoping to get a podium here today. I really hope he does. But who knows? Who knows exactly what's happening? I'm not sure why we've got a virtual safety car right off the start. I think it may be because of Extremist. He looks like he doesn't have much of a front wing. He doesn't. As we see Genesis and Broke Gorilla fighting for they're colliding. And there we go, another broken front wing for Broke Gorilla. Oh, it's off the virtual safety car. That's why. Right. Sorry guys, as we see Joel, that's a big issue there for Casey coming out of the corner. That was a real shame to see him go. Clarkey's now up to 5th place, overtaking Joel. We're going to go on ball behind to see how Joel and Clarkey are really fighting here through the middle stages. Not the sort of place where you often see people fighting. This is certainly a battle that is starting to emerge between these guys. Joel has now lost 2 seconds to Ben Wright in 4th place. We're going to go, I think, a little bit further down to Jake Lee, who was really having a look at Mazza spin there, but I think he just couldn't make it work. You can see, yes, the timing screens have had an issue, as they always do. Let's have a look out front, and Ben Wright is still on the tail of the top 3. I think the top 3 are probably going to be in this kind of position for a good while. As we see a lot of people pit, and Joel has just been run into the back of by Clarkey. He's going to be careful not to break his front wing. Now we can see Clarkey go around the hairpin. Hasn't got a broken front wing at the moment, but it looks like Joel is trying to break slipstream. This is not working though, because as we see here, Clarkey is just gaining and gaining and gaining. Please make sure you leave each other some space there, guys. See, Joel does get into the corner first, but it's a worse exit. Now let's see as he can make this stick. Joel has got a better exit now going through this corner. Joel, I think, has managed to make the stick. He's going to have the inside line going into turn 11, but it doesn't look like Clarkey's ever so slightly ahead. These two are really battling here. Clarkey has managed to get the inside line, but Joel is still there. He's still on his inside. This is mesmerising. It does look like Clarkey is now finally going in towards turn 17. Finally got the move done, and this is not the place you want to be bothering. This is where Dirty is really going to be hurting you. Right, let's see now as Clarkey still is battling away with Joel behind, as Joel's got a 3-second time limit for multiple warnings. That will be corner cutting already for Joel. This is a brilliant battle here between Clarkey and Joel though. As you see, Mazepin has also got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Right, we're going to go up towards the leaders. That seems like a big moment there from I am Slot. See, Uncle Ben's voice is at the fastest lap. We've now got DRS enabled, so this is where we see the likes of Nick and Robbie really come into their own against I am Slot out the lead. And we see there's a yellow flag. It does look like Joel's had an issue he has as he broke his front wing. He had indeed. Don't know what happened there, but that is a real shame with how much he was battling then with everyone else. You see a 3-second time penalty. The corner code for Joel is a shame really when you think about the fact that he's only because of the fact that he had an issue. Now we see Nick gaining, but not enough on I am Slot going through into turn 9. Turn 8 should say, as we see, well, that's probably a warning there. See, I thought to have a much better exit there. Luckily, I think for Nick, he's got DRS to defend himself from Robbie, and it's just not really enough to gain on Nick. So we're going to go down, I think, to see him as he's got a bit of a train falling here behind FT. I think if these guys can use DRS to really hang on the coattails of FT, who's already up in the 6th place from being 10th, this could be very useful from the likes of Cian, Mazepin, Jake Lee and Jamay, who are all behind in our gap to VRL in 11th place. So it looks like Nick just falls a little bit behind I am Slot. He's not going to want that going through the DRS, so let's see during the first sector if he can gain that up again. We're going to go on board though with his teammate of Robbie, last week's race winner. Very commanding lead in the end. Robbie had it. He led it from pretty much halfway through the race all the way to the end, even with the likes of Safdar right behind him in a track where overtaking is very easy, which is quite easy to do. Robbie held off quite well, so it does look like Nick will have DRS going into this sector, which is not good news for Robbie, but it is good news that he's still 1.5 seconds down. So let's see, does he have DRS? He doesn't. He's huge. So let's see if Robbie has got 6/10 to try and make up. I don't think he'll be enough to overtake Nick. 8. Turn. See if Nick is able to stay within. No, I don't think he is. DRS though. Is it Jake Lee? But back up. 5/10 still. So for Robbie, he's good to lose. He's just going through the third sector, able to put his teammate overtaken through the DRS, so to go down now. So this battle is obviously here. Mazepin and Jake Lee. We see the two of them battling out the Renault and Red Bull. Jake Lee once had an amazing race down in Silverstone last week, so it'll be great to see him. You see Broke Willis tired from the session. He seems to still be going. Who knows? As we see, that's a big moment from Robbie, and just allowing Uncle Ben's Rice to just overtake. I don't know what happened there from Robbie. He doesn't seem to have broken his front wing. He seems to have saved it quite well, but that is not what he wanted to be seeing whatsoever. Now, luckily, he's still very close to Uncle Ben's Rice. He seems to lose it again. His tyres have either just dropped off, or I think it's more likely he's just spun them up a bit too much. Too much heat in those tyres at the moment, especially following so many drivers. It's not going to be very good. So Uncle Ben Rush does not have DRS. He has got a much better exit of that corner though. Let's see now with DRS, can Robbie do what he failed to do last time around on his teammate? He'll do it on the racing point this time around, as Uncle Ben Rush is on the podium for the first time in his rookie race here at VRL. He's doing very well indeed. So we're going to go down to see him now and see if he can challenge FT ahead of him in the Alfa Romeo. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to at the moment. With 7/10 to make up, FT gets way too good of a launch from that corner. It's not enough once again for Robbie to overtake. He does seem to be really losing the traction and the grip on on those soft tyres. I wonder if he's going to be pitting for an early pit stop soon. As you see, Mazepin has been passed by Jemay, and that has just meant that Jake Lee is now second ahead of Jake Lee's fallen 2.5 seconds behind Siam and FT. Let's see where other battles are happening. So Extremist and Cody, that seems like a very easy pass at the end there from Extremist. We still haven't had a full-on safety car, which is quite surprising in this race. As we see, Uncle Ben Price is now back within a second of Nick. So we'll go with him, but they're about to go through the hairpin very soon. So let's see how they're doing coming through first. Well, just the end of the first sector, it's the middle sector now. So Uncle Ben Rice wants a much better exit here than Nick. He's going to have DRS over his challenger. Let's see now. Can Uncle Ben Rice already pass one Mercedes? Can he pass a second? Is he going to go inside or outside? He's going to go inside, going in towards turn 8. He's managed fairly coherently, really. A very easy pass with DRS there from Uncle Ben Rice. Now he has to defend from Nick in third place, going down in towards turn 11. So we see his yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. That seems like to be a stricken Williams. Let's see how he's doing. He's managed to keep it going though. He hasn't gotten too much wing damage, so it doesn't look like he's going to be losing too many positions. But we did lose another pass, second place, so that DRS seems to be enough. He just couldn't defend. Uncle Ben Rice couldn't go into turn 11. It's a shame, as we had that yellow flag that I ended up missing that, so I do apologise. Well, let's hope it does that. So, Robbie is now in P4 again. As you see, Nick has then dived into the pits. You see a 3-second time when Clark in fifth place. He stayed out. You see anyone else pits, pits. So, they're both in the pits now. And let's see what tyre Siam goes on to. Is it going to be the soft? Or is it going to be the mediums? It is straight onto the medium compound tyre. Yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. That seems to be Robbie, who's had a massive incident. He's managed to keep it going, but that is a real shame for Robbie. He seems to have been losing a lot of traction on those soft compound tyres, and it just shows, because now we have a racing point with a virtual safety car. We've got a racing point 2-3. Clark is doing very well with the 3-second time penalty for King for corner cutting. Yeah, this is turning into a very interesting race. Just checking things to see. Mentioned anything from the Discord? They haven't. We still have a virtual safety car. It kind of nullifies the race at the moment. The battles that are currently on track are between Robbie and Jake Lee. Obviously, we're expecting Robbie to probably pit on this lap. He's hoping the virtual safety car doesn't run out by the time he gets to the pits, but it's likely going to with where they are on the track. Let's see where else we've got some battles forming. It doesn't look like we've got any. As we see, Joel's retired from the session. And that's going into the first corner. I hope that's not the pit exit. That could be a full-blown safety car if we're not careful. Oh, and we've got another... they've got green flag running again. So, yeah, Robbie does seem to be really struggling on those soft compound tyres. He's kind of holding particularly here a bit, but he does get past. So Robbie, a fall from great from last week. He seems to have got a lot of damage here on his tyres. I think either his front wing. You see Uncle Ben's Rice and I Am Sloth getting into the pits now. And now we have the leaders of Clarky and FT. As you see, a 5-second penalty for Jemay for speeding in the pit lane after he got a 5-second penalty for exceeding pace under the virtual safety car. Speeding. Penalties going all across the grid at the moment, so we're going to have to see where I Am Sloth comes out. He's behind the Williams of VRL Smithy, so he's going to be hoping to clear this traffic as early as possible to try and get ahead and away from Nick, who is now once again is within DRS, but Smithy has gone out of the way for Sloth. So let's see if he runs into the back of him here. He doesn't. So Nick comes flying in and is now being very much held up by VRL Smithy. get past him with DRS here. So he's going to have to really hope to get past Smithy in an unorthodox place here, Nick, is to be able to get back into challenging Ironsloth, because Smithy's really holding him up here. The Williams is not getting out of the way of the Mercedes, because there is no team orders, inter-team orders here between Williams and Mercedes. As we see Nick really spin it in the dirty air there, that's a real shame. He's going to be hating the fact that he's just done that. He's lost a lot of time, and it does look like Casey's then got past Uncle Ben's Rice. On soft compound tyres, 7 old soft compound tyres. I thought they were really going to start gaining on Nick there, but he hasn't lost too much time. He's lost a lot of time, obviously, to I Am Slot. Not much when it comes to the guys behind him, Uncle Ben's Rice and Casey. And Uncle Ben's Rice comes into the pits again. What in the world? He's got front wing damage there on his left side of his front wing. That is a real shame. He goes onto the soft compound tyres. That looks like he's put him out of the race as well. So now, Clarkey will really be in, what, 3rd place? Wow. Doing very well there. It'll be interesting to see where Clarkey comes out after he pits. We're only 9 laps into this 28 lap race. So we see Ironsloth getting past Jim Stram quite easily there, going into turn 8. See yellow flag in sector 2. Look at the Renaults of Mazepin and Cody were fighting with one another. Extremes is back up into 11th place. Who else are we really watching? Nick is once again on the back of Smithy in the same place he was before. This is not going to be good for him. He's going to be really hoping not to break these tyres in too much. Smithy is still not getting in the way, getting out of the way of Nick. As we see, there we go. Smithy knows he's going to have no pace compared to Nick behind. Gets out of the way and decides not to cause the same instant as before. Still lost there. I didn't think he was going to do the same thing again for a moment there. As we see, Ironsloth is gaining on Jake Lee, currently in 3rd place. And we see when these medium compounds appear. It looks like Ironsloth is going to have to do all the overtaking on track at this point. As we see, he's had the fastest lap from 1:37.4, still nowhere near the 1:35 we saw from Walker. Walker, from Drofter. That's the kind of pace that we're hoping for. Maybe we'll see it when we go on to the soft compound tyres a bit later, if we get on the soft compound tyres a bit later. Right. That spin, that issue, for Uncle Ben's Rice has brought Robbie back into play a little bit. He's got 10 seconds to gain on Siam in front. But with this pace he has, I wouldn't be surprised if he can do that now. You see Siam about to overtake Casey, who's got very old soft compound tyres. I am very surprised he's not pitted yet. I'd be surprised if Casey doesn't hit this lap, because no tyre feeling good at all. You see Ironsloth has now overtaken Jake Lee to get back onto the podium. Obviously the guys around him haven't pitted yet. So they're not really in any fight with them. Apart from the fact that only 9 up the road, he's on P3 currently of Clarkey. So FT doesn't pit. They're just ran now. So Clarkey doesn't pit, FT doesn't pit. I didn't expect them to. These medium compound tyres probably go to about lap 14, I suppose. So it will be a while till we see them pitting. But we have some battles once again happening on the track. Nick is once again held up by traffic. So let's see if we can get past Jim Stram. Nick is now going into the first corner, 2 abreast. This is going to be a difficult one indeed. This is not where you want to be overtaking. You've got no grip on the outside there, and Jim Stram does take the position back. Nick is not going to be wanting to fight. He was within 4/10 of I Am Soft before he had all those issues stuck in VRL Smithy, as we see Smithy go on to intermediate tyres. I'm baffled. What? Right, Nick is going to go past Jim Stram there with a much better tyre. I do not know what has just happened. It doesn't look like Robbie is spun once again coming out of the hairpin. He just can't get the traction right on this Mercedes today, as we see Smithy has lost top 4 position because he's on intermediate tyres. What are you doing, son? What? I do not know what's happening there. Right, Jim Strapp in 6th place. He is still trying to fight with Nick. Obviously, Nick now being passed with much better tyres. Would be surprised if that carries on. Is that Jake Lee going into the wall there? I don't know what happened there. Jake Lee just seems to lose it coming out of turn 17, as we see Jermaine coming into the pits and actually speeding in the pit lane. So, it's bad news for Jake Lee. Now, let's see, can Nick gain this 3 seconds? As we see, I think that's Janice who's... Yeah, so Janice is in trouble coming out of turn 9. As I said, it's very easy to spin your car there if you're not careful, and he did exactly that. So, Uncle Ben's Rice is right on the back of the extremist. Now, can the Irishman keep the... I was going to make a very bad joke there. I should. Uncle Ben's Rice is really pushing on extremist here. Let's see if going through the first sector he can keep it together enough to overtake him. Those soft compound tyres are going to be a lot better than extremists old now, medium compound. So let's see, going into the hairpin, he's going to have a much better exit, having gone fairly deep there. And there we go. Before DRS even hits, Uncle Ben's Rice is very much done. Pretty much good, I think. I just can't. I can't help it. I can't. I'm sorry. So Extremist is still fighting round the outside. He's going to become the inside to turn 9, but they're doing well not to collide there. Extremist does very well not to collide with Uncle Ben's Rice there. And that could have been a bit of a pit out fight. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't miss the opportunity. As Clarkey then comes into the pits, into P2. From P1. Let's see where he comes out. He's about net P3. Of course, he's gone a lot longer. He's now going to have 2 sets, I reckon, of soft compound tyres to finish the race on. So, who's the nearest person to him who is pitted? It's Siam, who may just overtake him. Let's see as we see Clarkey come out. See Robbie's retired from, and it's a full-on safety car. That is great news for Clarkey. He's just pitted at the right time. Now, FT's going to have to pit. So is... who else is going to pit? Jim Strapp will pit. He's done very well for himself. And this is exactly what we said at the start of the race. If these medium compound tyres come off at the same time, great race on a pan. Now, I am Sloth and Nick Hill. If they don't pit, likelihood is that they have Clarkey right behind them. If that's the case, Clarkey, new soft compound tyres is going to have a much better chance of overtaking those guys than we've ever seen on this track. Pretty much everyone behind pits. I think if they don't pit, they're going to be sitting down. I am Soft and Nick have to pit here. It'll be really interesting to see if they do. I couldn't see why FT won't pit. He's going to do very well in pit in there. So let's see. Oh, not even anywhere near it. I thought we were there. So I am Soft. I think will pit. So will Nick. So will Jim Strapp. Now I think I Am Soft is far enough ahead to get out in front of Clarkey. The best person to come out of this is 100% FT. As I said, he is the kind of driver, as is our championship leader, he's the kind of driver who can very easily get from 10 to the top of the order to drive through penalty between the pit lane and Mazepin. From the 10th to the top of the order because of his race pace. And this just shows it. His Iron Sloth doesn't pit. He just thought, I'm going to lose too much. Nick Hill does pit, so does Jim Strapp. Clarkey doesn't. He has got a 3-second time penalty there. See, Nick Hill does get out in front. Does FT? This is going to be close. FT and Clarkey now. Let's see who comes out in front. It is just FT. That is not enough from Clarkey. He's going to be very bitterly disappointed that the person who was, I think, about 5 seconds behind him has now come into... No, he's actually 2 seconds behind, wasn't he? He's now come in just ahead of him. You see the back marker of Jermaine, who's right in front of Seal. wow, Nick Hill's obviously behind them. He's going to hope to go to the end of the race on that set of medium compound tyres. I have a feeling I Am Sloth is really, I don't know what he's thinking. Well, I do know what he's thinking. He's thinking, I don't want to lose track position here. I don't want to be stuck behind FT and Clarkey if I can help it. Now, 5-lap old medium compound tyres is not bad, don't get me wrong, and of course the likes of FT and Clarkey and Seam will all have to pit again, just like I Am Sloth. But the issue here is I Am Sloth's race was not with those guys behind him, it was with Nick, and Nick has pitted. Nick may be able to go to the end of the race. Now that's a 23-second difference that I Am Sloth is going to have to make up. Now he will have much better tyres, but a 23 difference is a lot to make up with only 14 laps to go. Nick Hill may have just pulled off a blinder of a strategy there. Brilliant up till now, and my god, is it only going to get better as we see Mazepin overtaking Streamers. I don't think that's meant to be happening. As we see, yeah, Mazepin has actually spun. I don't like it, I really don't. I could, but I don't. Clarkey is obviously right behind FT now as the safety car in this race. Now there is some back markers there. Now of course a few of them are AI. Jermaine isn't. So we're going to hope, I think, that he's going to get out of the way for Seam to challenge. Of course, we hope that Nick Hill's going to be able to get back up there. He's just hoping that this pack out front really stays as close as possible so he can be battling once again with I Am Sloth without having to pit again. I don't know whether I Am Sloth thinking he can get to the end of the race on this medium set compound, medium set tyre, because I think that is just way too big of an ask. And you see James Jones now in and out of the pits onto the soft compound tyre. You see behind him and Uncle Ben's Rice is dinging out in front. The Rice puns are going to continue, just different. So Jake Lee's doing very well as well into 7th place. Now he's going to have to pit again, with likelihood is Casey will as well. I think the only person who may not have to stop again is Nick. But it all depends on how long this safety car is out for. If we're in the safety car, so lap 6, lap 17 should say. It's not too far, it's only 12 laps. Now, 6-lap old medium compound tyres are not going to feel great, especially not to play a few brand new softs. The likelihood here is that FT will get past Dennis obviously very easily, but will get past I Am Sloth as well to go into the lead of this race. And maybe, now, I don't think I Am Sloth is going to do enough to get ahead of Nick after pitting. Before pitting, I should say. He's not going to get a 23-second gap. But if FT can get some clear air, 7-8 laps on those soft compound tyres can probably get him far enough to get up to see, safety cars coming in, it's not to get him further enough ahead of Nick in that, you know, on that medium compound tyres. Maybe stuck behind Seam for a little bit, maybe even stuck behind Clarkey for a little bit. FT can win this race by just getting the gap that he needs and then being on fresher tyre to get even further ahead of Nick in 5th. I think this race is between two soft compound runners of FT and Clarkey and Nick, but I will not count out I Am Sloth. Of course I won't, if the safety car does continue for another lap. See, into the pits. He decides better of it. I think he is probably thinking, you know what, I'm not risking it. These tyres won't last, but if I swap them out, they will. See, they're swapping onto the soft compound tyres. He's also changing his front wing. I think now it's time to have a look at penalties. See a drive through from Mazepin. Siam's now got nothing. FT's got 3. Clarkey's got 6, importantly, so that's 3 more than the guys around him, because Nick's got 3. I Am Sloth doesn't have any. Now that will serve him well if he can get within those 3 seconds of Nick and the guys in front. It's times like these I wish I had someone to talk to. If you're listening and you do feel like you want to give it a go at commentating, you want to feel like you want to have a chat with me, please let me know, as we see Jemay just completely going through. Yeah, that's going to be 5 second time penalty for ignoring the other flags. It certainly is. I suppose he gets him out of the way. There we go, he was disqualified from the session for ignoring the other flags. That's a lot of penalties happening behind. I Am Sloth gets a penalty as well. 5 seconds for I Am Sloth for colliding, I think, with FT. Can we have a look at the race time? Incidents. What did he get that 5 second time penalty for? Wow, it's been a lot of penalties. For Jenice. So Jenice, after coming through... Oh, it's the guy behind him. No, it isn't the guy behind him. So he obviously backed off because of the fact that Jemay came through and got disqualified. See, safety car is in this lap, and he's just ended up colliding with the car behind. So he's now got a massive mountain to climb, but he will also have another penalty, another pit stop to make. So let's see. We're going to go on board, I think, with Clarkey once more. Another racing point to start off with. Let's see if him and FT can really get the jump on I Am Sloth out the front. They're really warming up the tyres here. The guys behind are really going to have to make sure not to collide with one another. They are getting very close. Jake Lee's having a great race there in 6th place. Let's hope he can keep it going. As we see, Clarkey hasn't gone, but now they have. As we see, Jenice has now gone out of the way. Very good from him. So Clarkey and FT have been caught out here of I Am Sloth. He's just absolutely legged it. As we see now a lot of people pitting behind, but this train is now formed behind FT. Now FT's pretty much the leader because I Am Sloth just clocked out. Let's see if he can get that going. So now, as we see, there's 2 tenths between FT and Clarkey. Of course, there won't be DRS on this lap. But as we start laps, we're on lap 17 and 28. Oh, that's a bit of a tag there from Clarkey. I think he's let FT go away with that because he could have very easily overtaken. But that doesn't then mean that Nick is going to give him the same leniency. That soft compound tyre is just enough to stop Nick being able to overtake. So let's see if there's any more overtakes happening. Uncle Ben's right, still warming up his tyres, and Jim Strav looks on the outside but just can't make it work. He's doing a very good race as well. So Cody now right behind these guys as well. Let's see, it does look like FT and Clarkey, they managed to keep pace with I Am Sloth but not gain on him. Now, that's not too bad for them. Obviously, he's got a 5 second time penalty that will serve. As we see Clarkey get another 3 second time penalty, that's now 7 seconds for Clarkey. Nick has obviously only got 9 second time penalty for Clarkey. He's got a lot to make up as well. See him diving up the inside there of FT. Let's stay on board with Nick as we're watching this. Clarkey's just looking for any way past possible, I should say. As we see, Jim Strav has had an issue, and Extremist and Cody have managed to get past. Right, let's see. Can Clarkey get anywhere near FT? So MJ King has also gotten past Jim Travis. Oh, he's in the pits, that's why. So now those two are battling very much tooth and nail here. Can it work down into turn 4? Turn 5. Didn't have the map up. So turn 5. So we're now going in towards turns. These guys have caught right up to I Am Sloth. I don't know if we had an incident there in that first sector, but now we have 3 abreast. Well, the 3 leading tail down into 8. I don't know if that's going to be enough. FT is not at the moment. He is having a look at the inside, but of course without DRS, that 4 second gap is just too much to try and make up. I don't know whether we've seen 10 laps left. Those medium compound tyres that I'm Sloth and Leffy's really nursed throughout this race. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to be able to keep going. Obviously Nick is still right behind these guys, so is Casey. And then you've got Uncle Ben's right, not too far behind. As we see Cody and Extremist once again battling away in 8th and 7th. Extremist has done very well to get into 7th place at the moment. Let's wait and see if Cody can capitalise on this bit of a messy middle sector there from Extremist with a 3 second time penalty from VRL Smithy as well. So Extremist now going in towards the hotel section of the track. Beautiful little hotel there. Sadly, it's completely useless for most people who haven't got £1 million. I do like Abu Dhabi at points, just not in F1. So we now see Extremist and Cody still leading each other one by one. As you see, Nick has gotten right up to the back of Clarky, who seems to be being held up by FT quite a fair bit. FT obviously now being held up by I Am Sloth. We do have DRS now this lap, so that's what we're going to stay on board here with the leaders. Are we going to see an overtake for the lead of the race? At the moment, Nick Hill most likely won't need to pit. Be interesting to see. So, FT now going with DRS. He's only 4 tenths off. Can he overtake him going into turn 8? He's gaining, but I don't think enough. He's not using his overtake. He's thinking better of it, I think. Oh, that seemed like a bit of collision there from Clarky. It was indeed. Clarky's completely lost it there. I think he's actually... That's a bit weird to see. I think Jake Lee's lost a lot of positions there. Nick does get past Clarky, but they're ghosting through each other. I'm not sure why. I think Nick is ahead of Clarky. He is. So we've got a virtual safety car again. So we have a comment from a Joshua saying rightly on that. Now, if you're referring to Jermaine trying to get past the safety car, now was in normal F1, yes, it does happen that the lap cars unlap themselves to come back through, but on this game that doesn't happen, and you do just kind of have to get through the. See Cody getting another 3-second time penalty. Clarky's now pitted, so it's now become a 3-horse race here at the top. We're waiting for the virtual safety car to go back to green flag running. There we go again. Drive-through penalty there for Casey. Not good news for him for speeding under VSC. Now, can FT and Nick really bring life back into this race? This is not good news for FT, really. He will have to pit again 8 laps more on those soft compound tyres. He's just not going to go. He's going to lose way too much pace to the likes of Nick behind. I think really everyone in the top, I'd say everyone in the top 5 bar 3 runners in top 5. So I Am Sloth, FT and Casey will all have to pit again before the end of the race. It's just going to have to happen. FT here, even with DRS, even with those soft compound tyres, after 5 laps, he's looking like he's going to be overtaken, or just about not, from FT and Nick there. I think Nick just knows he's going to have to end up overtaking FT. He'll either have to do it on track or just wait until the pits. Now, he doesn't want to not lose too much time and not lose too much tyre life from behind FT, really. Think you see a 3-second time penalty, another 3-second time penalty for Clarky. He's just had a bit of a mare of the second half of this race. It's a shame, really, because he seemed to pit just at the right time. So you now see us entering lap 21. Let's see how the battle is doing. You see Casey comes into the pits. Let's see how the battle is performing with these guys in front. You've got Ben's Rice and Extremist now into 5th place. Great lap, great from him so far. See him into 7th. He's of course behind a lot of people who have to pit again. Whereas see all that hold on soft tyres because that's unsure. But he's really on the back of Cody here. But we're going to go back to the race at the front of the track because I Am Sloth. I think you can overtake this possible. He's saved up quite a lot though. Doing some trouble again for Clarky. Let's see if FT can make it work. He can't. But we have another DRS zone coming right up. So now going into the second DRS zone, it just seems like FT's lost a little bit more time again. Just can't keep it going through that sector there. And it's probably going to have the same story going through the third sector as well. It's that dirty air going through the tight corners. It's very difficult in these modern F1 cars. Hopefully in 2022 we'll see something different. At the moment it's just very difficult to really stay right behind someone. But that doesn't stop the likes of Siam running very much in the gearbox of Cody. Let's see, can he go round the outside going into turn 17? This is very brave from both of them. They both dive in. It's just a little bit of contact, but not too much now. It's the inside line for Siam. Cody just gets the outside and manages to keep the place. This is a great battle here from two very brave drivers going through turn 17, where of course we saw Rosberg and Cartagena really going into each other, and Rosberg basically absolutely launching his car. So we now have Cian and Cody still fighting it out as we're just going to go back up to the leaders. So FT now a lot closer, but of course Nick is right behind, trying to break toe there. He's I Am Sloth and FT, but can he make the move stick? He's getting ever closer and closer. He'll have to completely outbrake the McLaren driver, and he's just not being able to do it. At the moment, it looks like I Am Sloth is going to weather this storm. I don't know whether he's going to try and stay out on those medium compound tyres. It would be an incredible feat if he manages to do it. It's another DRS zone gone, and another DRS zone not enough for FT. So we're going to go down then to Cian and Cody once more, going through the middle sector. Let's see. National in the final sector now. Cian does finally properly, but of course this is once again where Cody hit back last time. I don't think he's going to be able to get the position back this time. No, Cian is just too far ahead. So we're going to see if any other battles are forming, as we see Cody right in the gearbox of Cian once more. Nick is right in the gearbox of FT. He's willing the Alfa Romeo driver to try and get past I Am Sloth. He knows FT can't make it to the end of the race on those soft compound tyres. He knows that FT is really going to be wanting to keep using that DRS to keep the pace up. Because if I Am Sloth is not going to pit, FT does not want to be doing the same thing. Now, 12 laps, 13 laps, 14 laps, whatever it ends up being on soft compound tyres, you're likely to get a puncture. Who knows what's going to happen here? I really have no idea. Right, we're watching now as FT really thinks his best opportunity. He's in a much better position. He's used all of his overtake. He's using DRS. He's trying to go up the inside. He brakes a bit later, but I Am Sloth is still there. He gets the inside line to the next corner, but this is going to be the best opportunity once again for FT. Now let's see with DRS, but Nick, just surprisingly for both of us, gets past both of them and into the lead of this race. Brilliant move there from Nick, just managing to pounce at the right moment. Now he has to just try and maintain a good pace, try and get ahead of these guys who are on much worse tyres, as I Am Sloth has now slipped down into third place on his 14 lap all mediums. It looks like it is mid-over for I Am Sloth. He's going to have to think, right, what's the best result I can get now? He's got Uncle Ben's Rice, who was on a very similar strategy to Nick behind him. He's going to be on much better tyres as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see both FT and I Am Sloth pitting here. Let's see. I Am Sloth does not pit, nor does FT. Don't listen to me, I'm wrong. So, Uncle Ben's right, going in to fourth. He's currently in fourth position. After that massive issue he had, he's managed to get himself back up into fourth. Done very well indeed. Nick, who's obviously started on the front row of the grid, is in first place. He's done very well. But really, outstandingly, FT has done very well indeed. I'm unsure what these guys are all planning. I'll tell you now, the likes of Cian and Extremist and FT and I Am Sloth needs to make their tyres last till the end of the race. Oh, gobsmacked. I was sure as we see Uncle Ben's Rise get past I Am Sloth and back onto the podium. He's had a brilliant race to recover from his mistakes. I Am Sloth just looking like he's lost in strategy here. As we see Extremist getting all out of sorts there going through turn 9. Managing to just about keep it on the road, but now he's Clarky a bit behind him. See Uncle Ben's right and I Am Sloth really battling out. I think Sloth tyres have completely blocked here. I'm unsure what we're going to stick. 4 laps is not enough to gain any sort of time on these guys in front. It looks like I Am Sloth is going to lose his bid for a podium after such an incredible race. He just should have pitted under that last time. He just put it a little bit too far. FT's on. He's currently a second and a half in front of Uncle Ben's Rice. He's soft compound tyres. Just really going to be feeling atrocious at this point. Forward, tries to get all out of sort there, going through turn 4. So, does that bring I Am Sloth back into contention? It did look like Extremist and Clarky all over again. A lot of people on soft compound tyres once again, but of course Extremist on 11-lap-old softs. He's looking like he's just going to become the fallen angel. Really, he's going to keep dropping positions if tyres don't get any better. There's a fair bit of gaps now forming between the guys at the front. I think this is where tyre wear is really starting to pay dividends. I think the fact he's done 10 laps at the moment, he'll have to have done 14 by the end of the race. He has pulled a blinder, doing one stop, medium to soft. Crazy, absolutely crazy. What you love to see though. Right, let's go down to the guys below. Siam is still fighting with Extremists though, down in 7th and 6th. Siam, who's obviously pitted that a little bit earlier, needs to get past while he's still got the tyre advantage over Extremists. Soon he's going to be really feeling it, and when you've got older soft compound tyres, whether the person in front is on a worse compound, if you've got old tops, yeah, you're just going to have no traction. Siam needs to get past while he still can. So let's see if he's able to. Not going to be enough at the moment. He's going to keep hold of 6th position. And it certainly looks like at the moment FT is going to keep hold of 2nd. We'll see Manskin get. Oh no, he's not because of time penalties. That's a good point. Let's see time penalties. Nick is in the lead by at least 3 seconds on Uncle Ben's Rice. And let's see now as Siam is about to move past. Is he? He's going to have DRS. He's going to have much more of an advantage and a better. So Siam easily gets past in the end. So it looks like at the moment Uncle Ben's Rice is going to finish 2nd. And after a race that he had with such issues, that safety car really saved him. Actually, he twice at the same time. Wow. Extremist tries to dive bomb and it doesn't work out. So Uncle Ben's Rice is going to be 2nd at the moment. So Uncle Ben's Rice is going to be in 2nd place. You've then got Nick selling the purse, luckily for him, at the moment. He's just over 4 seconds in front of Uncle Ben's Rice, and then I Am Sloth is going to lose 5 seconds, but Clarky with an 18 penalty. He's in positions. Putting it back onto this three. I'm unsure who that is. It looks like red. No, it's Cody. I thought it was Master living up to his name, but it's not. Cody is and retired from the session. So still back into 3. I wouldn't I don't think it is. I'm Sloth has got a 3-second time penalty. Clark gets past, of course, as much as that is for position, it's not going to be as you can't another 3-second time penalty for Clarky. It's not going to be is that Extremist who stopped? It is. He's now dropped down to 8. VRL Smith has done well in 7th at the moment. These guys are just dropping like flies. They're going to be really struggling with tyre wear. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of them have punctured as we see Cody's now dropped out of the race as well as left us as well. So with 2 laps left, Nick is very much comfortably in the lead of this race. You can see in the yellow flag in front. Right, Uncle Ben's Rice, right behind FT. FT, for Nick's sake, needs to stay here in... Oh, Nick has just lost the lead of this race. He's not going to get 6-second advantage on Uncle Ben's Rice. Uncle Ben's Rice here has done phenomenally. My driver of the day was going to go to FT with his amazing skills of managing to keep that soft compound tyre going, but given the issues that Uncle Ben's Rice has had, given the turmoil that he's been through, getting back into third place, keeping it completely clean, I think when you look at how everyone else is doing, that is the big thing. He's kept it clean throughout this entire thing, and that is going to mean that even though he's 5 seconds almost behind Nick, he's most likely going to win this race. The only way he won't is if Nick gains another second in this final little part of the lap. I just don't know if that's possible. There seems to be yellow flag going into that sector all the time, but I'm not sure why. See, because they've got another issue there. Casey Jenner's got another 3-second time penalty. At the moment, it's looking like Uncle Ben's Rice is going to get second on the track, but first in. Let's see, is he going to be goaded into a battle here by FT? From FT, he's got a 10-second time penalty for extremist. So it looks to me that Uncle Ben's Rice, he's going to get it perking, but Nick will come across the line in first. We're going to have to stay on board, because now it's 5.5 seconds. All he has to lose is another half a second to Nick, and he's lost the lead of this race. I don't know what's going to happen. Nick comes across the line. He's in first place. FT now in second. I think he's going to win the race. He's just about going to do it. He is by 0.08 of a second. Nick, his Uncle Ben's Race still gets my my driver of the day. What an incredible race. FT comes home in third. Ironslaw fourth. Seam in fifth. Then Clarkey in sixth. VRL Smithy, amazingly done for him to come home in seventh. Then you've got the other Williams of MJ King in eighth. Wow. Casey Jenner in ninth. You then have, Casey Jenner does come home in eighth. You then have Jim Strav, another person without any penalties, then comes home in 8th after all that. Mazespin comes home in 11th, I think. I think he will finish there. What a race. What an amazing race. 0.08 of a second. Uncle Ben's Race just needed to push that little bit more to get into first place. He just couldn't do it. Amazing drive there from Nick. He's done brilliantly for that. My driver of the day, of course, goes to Uncle Ben's Rice because of the fact he went through so many issues and still managed to just about lose that race. You then have FT, the championship leader, does very well to come from, I think it was 11th up to 3rd with one-stop strategy from, it's incredible. Keeping everyone behind him. He's the reason why Nick won the race, you have to say, with that 6-second time penalty. I thought it was all lost, but he just managed to keep it going, and obviously FT managed to keep Uncle Ben's Rice behind him, just when it looked like he'd lost the position. I am Sloth does very well there, and Seam does very well as well. VRL Smithy, do have to say, a brilliant race from him to come home there. But of course, VRL Smithy did very well. He's just actually reminding me, he beat on to intermediates at one point, and he came in 7th. How well he did. I forgot about that. Absolutely mental. He went on to intermediates. Extremist comes home in 12th. And we'll get the final classification in a second. What a crazy race. After an amazing race last time out, it promised so much, and it delivered. I have to say, more exciting than any Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that we've actually seen. And that includes the title decider in 2016. That was incredible, and I'm so proud of this league for just delivering on pure entertainment there. Oh, Uncle Ben's racing brilliantly to come home in second. But there you go, your race winner of Nick, after missing out in the last race just because of the fact that he just couldn't keep it going. FT there, back on the podium, and that's going to do his championship bid very well indeed. And I'll do the maths actually going into the next race to see if FT can be caught. Oh, my throat hurts. I'm surprised my battery lasts on my controller. But well done, everyone. We'll get our final classification, and then I'll finish it up. do make sure that if you love watching races like this, make sure to subscribe. It's been brilliant having you all here. So then our final classification with Nick in first, 800th after that penalty behind him, Uncle Ben's Rice in second, FT in third, I am slotting fourth, Seam in fifth, Clarkey, then VRL Smithy, Jim Strav does brilliantly in the AlphaTauri to come 8th, and Kate done it in 9th, and then MJ King in 10th, doing very well for Williams there, double points for them brilliantly. You then have Mazspin, Jake Lee, Extremist, Jenis, Cody. They were your final finishers. Then you had Jamae, who obviously got disqualified. Robbie, who such a promising start and such a horrible way to end. You then had Joel and Broke Gorilla finishing us off. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I've been Nat Craig. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all next time.